Welcome to SPEED FEM, a podcast series created to promote a more equitable, inclusive and aware corporate culture. Today, we want to take a journey with you through the two countries where we will be implementing our project, Italy and Greece. But why these two countries? The answer might seem simple and perhaps obvious. As of today, Italy and Greece rank last and second to last, respectively, in the European ranking for gender equality in employment. To understand better, let's take a look at the current situation. In Italy, the female employment rate is 51%, which is quite significant if we consider that European average is 64.9%. Of the women employed, 24% work part-time. And if we look at corporate leadership, only 1 in 4 women holds a managerial role. This is a very low number, especially when considering that women entering the workforce are often at risk of being overqualified for the position they hold. Now let's talk about parenthood, or rather motherhood. After the birth of their first child, only 43.6% of women continue to work. The situation in southern Italy appears even worse than the Italian average. Only 29% of women with children are employed. To give you an example, it is more likely to find a woman with 3 children working in most European Union countries than to find a woman with only 1 child working in Italy. Paradoxical, isn't it? These numbers show us how the family model that places the burden of care entirely on women's shoulders is still deeply rooted and difficult to break. The situation becomes even more complicated if we take an intersectional perspective. Being a woman in Italy is not easy, and it's even harder if you come from a migrant background. A migrant woman faces daily double penalties and a double discrimination. Not only will she not have access to managerial roles, but she is more likely to be relegated to jobs that do not match her qualifications. 42.3% of migrant women are overqualified for the jobs they perform. Imagine studying a subject you are passionate about and dreaming of doing your dream job. Then one day you decide or are forced to move for a foreign country that does not recognize your degree, master's or PhD, that disregards your professional experience and that requires you to take on jobs associated with the stereotypes based on how the local people perceive you just to survive. How would you feel? Would you try to change the situation? Would you want others to shine a spotlight on the injustice you are experiencing? Women with disabilities also face barriers to entering the workforce. As of today, only 23.3% of women with minor disabilities are employed, and the percentage drops to 9% if the disability is considered severe. In case you're wondering, 36% of men with mild disabilities work, and for those with severe disabilities, it's 16.1%. Let's now shift to Greece, where the situation is no better. The female employment rate stands at around 52.7%. 23% of employed women work in education, while only 4% access jobs related to STEM fields. That's a significant gap. Do any stereotypes or common assumptions come to mind when you see these numbers? The world of work in Greece does not seem to be a place for women. According to an ActionAid survey, 85% of women have experienced harassment and 22% have been victims of sexual assault or rape in the workplace. Which sectors are most affected? Tourism and services, the most crucial sectors for the country's economy. And do you know what is even more shocking? Only 6% reported it. If we said earlier that the workplace isn't a place for women, unfortunately, it's not a place for minorities either. A Eurobarometer survey revealed that 31% of Greeks would not work with people belonging to the LGBTQIA+ community, and 20% would not feel comfortable working with people of Jewish, Buddhist or Muslim faith. In Greece, 80% of people with disabilities do not have access to the labor market, a very negative record. Why have we shared all this with you? Because only by knowing the data we can try to change it. And change also comes from our work. From a concrete commitment from companies, from building safe and inclusive environments, reaching out to the most vulnerable people in society and using our voices for them, giving them a face and a role in the labor market. This is SPEED FEM, towards a more equitable workplace for everyone. See you in the next episode.